So procedural languages are using built-in data types to solve real-world problems. But in real world, everything is an object. Everything in this universe is object. For example, person, student, mobile, product, car, anything may be living or non-living. If you pick up anything in this universe, it is an object. So what is object? Actually, object is is such an entity which have two unique properties. Not the point. Two unique aspects. One aspect, it has several properties. For example, the student. Let's suppose a student. So student has name, age, address, mobile number. So many properties are possible, okay, to represent the student. So these are properties: name, age, address, mobile number, ID number, metric number. You see, many are possible. It depends on you how many information you want to store, or by how many information you want to represent the student. This is one aspect. Another aspect is functionality. One is, you see, property, another one is functionality. So functionality means that the same student can do something, can write, can walk, can sing. Okay? So meaning to say, in this universe, the objects, everything is an object, and object has two properties, two aspects. One, a list of properties, another, a list of functionality. So to represent the object in this format, that combine different data types into one entity, like name is a string, age is a float, mobile number may be integer, and so on. So these are different data types, but all these combinedly represent a student. So how to combine these different data types and plus to show the functionality? Actually, procedural languages cannot do that. Procedural languages are 100% fail to do that. Okay, if you still want to store or to represent a real world objects, you just think that if you want to show different activities and different records of student, so how you will do how to store the student information? You see, the names you will store in one array, the ages you will store in another array, the addresses in another array. How you can manage? Very difficult and very challenging. And even the functionality is totally like almost impossible. Actually, the structure, if you remember, the structure tried to combine different data types into one entity, but that one is also just property. The functionality structure cannot provide. Okay, so to represent the real world object in real sense, I mean that to combine the different properties plus functionality to one unit, which we will call object. Okay, so later on I will explain to you, don't worry. So this type of programming, like for example, if I want to store information about student, then I will store student. I will not store names, blah 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 blah. Of course, names, these information will be there, but my entity will be student. My entity in terms of product will be like phone, mobile phone. Okay, not in this way, the information will be not scattered. They will be at one place. It will be easy to maintain, easy to update, easy to modify. Okay, if you still don't understand what I'm saying, don't worry. From time to time, later on, the whole semester is about that. So you will learn. There are four fundamental pillars of object-oriented programming. In the last video, I have explained that is abstraction, uh, mm, uh, mm, information hiding, or data encapsulation. Third one, inheritance. Fourth one is polymorphism. Okay, we will do this from time to time. Don't worry if you don't understand the video one. There are special chapters about individual pillar. Okay, so now let's start from the abstract data type. Okay, so slowly we will go to the abstract data type. Let me show you this one first. You see, the procedural languages focuses on process action that occur in a program, meaning to say mostly it can define a function and call the function. Okay. Otherwise, to store the information, you will have to store maybe in arrays or maybe in variables. So one array will contain maybe the age, the another name. So it's very difficult and scattered and very difficult if you want to change something. Object-oriented programming, as I told you, it is based on the concept of object, and object is combination of properties and functions, and how to represent an object. This concept is called abstract data type. So what is actually abstract data type? Let me explain to you a bit. I will try if I could. Let's suppose the student, okay. So student you can represent in several properties. So maybe by name, if I write just n to for simplicity, name, age, okay, address, program, year of study, let's suppose. So you see, for some people, this information will be enough to represent a student. But some people will say, no, I want metric number also. Okay, metric number, maybe ID number, maybe nationality, let's suppose, maybe uh, gender. Okay, you see, so many details are possible. So you see, this one is also possible, this one is also possible, less than this is also possible, more than this is also possible. So how to decide to represent a student? Actually, every programmer and every situation has some specific objectives. So according to your objective, by what information you can achieve the objective, just select that general properties that you can achieve the objective and represent the student. So that general properties, not the point, the general properties that you select, this is called abstract data type. So you see, abstract data type, the name will be string, the age will be float or double, string, int, and so on. So that, and in this process, that you decide the general properties of something and represent that entity with those general properties, this process is called data abstraction. Okay, I hope is okay. If not, you can ask a question. Yeah, so the data structure changes. Yeah, I already told you this one. I'm skipping this one. Okay, now the data abstraction structure, that we have studied in last semester. Structure also tried to introduce the data abstraction and combine different data types into one. But the limitation was what? That structure couldn't provide functionality. Now, class, class in object-oriented programming, there is one a higher level than a structure which we call class. So class is what? Class is a general definition of some entity which defines properties, general properties plus general functions. So if you very simply want to define class, then you can define a class like this. Let's suppose class equal to properties of something plus functionality of something, but the class is a general idea, just it is just idea. Okay, it's it's it is not a physical entity yet, it's just an idea. Okay, and when we represent the idea in the form of code, okay, it become a class. Okay, and once we define any variable of this idea, okay, then that variable, the variable is called object. Okay, the variable of that one is called object. For example, the idea of a student will be class, the general student. That student may be Malaysian, that student may be European, that may be Indonesian. So everywhere a student is a student and has some general properties. So the general description is called class. But any one of you, let's suppose, okay, I don't remember your names yet, so sorry for that. So if I just say, let's suppose city, okay, so city is a unique example of this idea. So this city is called object. So the example, the real world entity, okay, the variable of that concept is called object, and the general idea is called class. If it is still not clear, okay, then I will try to explain like this. You see, whenever we are building uh, a house, or maybe if the government is introducing a housing society, okay, then before starting any construction, actually there is a mind map for that. The engineers design a map for that and explain everything, the structures of the building, the sewerage, uh, the water system, the electricity system, everything has been defined before in on papers. Okay, so that on paper description of the building, okay, it is paper, actually it is not a building. Okay, but this paper description is called class. Okay, and when some construction company get this contract and build the houses, then each house, according to this idea, this is an object. So this is, let's suppose, obj1, object 1. This is object 2. This is object 3. So the physical entity constructed according to this idea is called object, and the general idea is called class. How to do this in C++, how to define the class and how to define the objects, we will go to that point uh, slowly. As I told you, that every object in this universe, anything in this universe has attributes and functions. For example, the student, the attributes are the name, age, gender, address, blah blah blah. These are all called attributes. Methods are behavior is functionality. Like the student can walk, the student can write, the student can sing, and so on. So this is functionality. Okay. So when we are defining a class, then we will define these two aspects, the attributes and the methods. So how to do that? Okay, in the same time, we will we will apply data hiding also, and the public interface also. uh, Data hiding is for security purpose. If you don't understand at this moment what data hiding means and how to do it, the general purpose of data hiding means that we want security. Okay, so some of the information will be hidden. It will be not visible to outside user. Okay, but to the outside user, to the public, there will be a common public user interface. Okay, that the user will interact with the interface, but the user will don't know what is going on at the back end, what are the details behind this. For example, you see, all of you have used ATM. Let's suppose ATM. Okay, you know ATM, right? ATM machine, to withdraw, to
Yes,
take
yes.
our money. Okay, so you see, when we go to the ATM machine and insert the card, we got some menu. Okay, some menu like this. Let's suppose we click any option, so we don't know when we touch the option what is going behind this, how many functions are clicked, are called behind this. We don't know about this. What type of variables are used to show my balance, to show the withdraw, to show the how they manage, which language has been used. We don't know. So that aspects are hidden from us. So that is called data hiding, and we will do that in this subject in this class. Very important and very nice. This is the actual programming, really. So if you want to be a programmer, this is the way how to solve a real world problem, and the real world is actually working like this. Okay, so user interface means this, and the data hiding means this, that we don't want to show everything to public. Okay, next. So let's do a classes. A class has a name. The keyword class, if you remember, previously we were using the keyword int, the keyword struct, if you remember. Okay, struct. So here we will use the keyword class, and the class name here you can give any name. For example, in case of our example, student. Okay, student. So class student, and here you see this is the body of class. You see the body of class will be terminated by semicolon. Okay, so semicolon. So inside this body there will be declarations, meaning to say the properties like the name, the age, the address. Okay, the address. So all these we will define, we will declare. But note the point, the declaration will be one, the properties, and the second one will be the functionality. Okay, so in class we will define two things. Okay, properties and functionality. And if you remember previously I told you that in this semester you should learn functions very well. We will use in every class functions, functions, functions. Okay, so much usage of functions, because in every class there will be properties and functions, properties and functions. Okay, so it is like this. So let me show you a practical example, how to do this and what to do this. Okay, this one is example, but I think it will not helpful for you yet. Let me show you practical example in Visual Studio Code. So I am opening Visual Studio Code. Last time some students were asking if you have used Dev C++ in last semester and you are okay with that, you continue with the Dev C++, no problem, no issue. If you have used Dev C++, sorry, Visual Studio Code, you can do that. If you want to switch from Dev C++ to Visual Studio Code, you are most welcome. There are many tutorials in YouTube that how to configure Visual Studio Code for C++. You can easily follow, or maybe you can follow my previous videos. If not, you can contact me. I can help you. Okay, so this is Visual Studio Code. The benefit of Visual Studio Code over Dev C++ is that actually Visual Studio Code is quite intelligent. There is artificial intelligence behind it. When you are typing, it gives you options for quick selection. If there is any mistake, it can give you suggestions. It change the colors and so many things. So it's more interactive than Dev C++. So that's about that. Now we are going to define a class. So which object you want? You see the student, mobile, car, house, whatever. So I should write example about what? I think the student is quite common, right? So let's write a class and define a class and object for student. I have created this template to quickly get the beginner code. I think it should not be a problem. You already know this, right? Okay, so now you see, note the point that this time we will do something, we will type something before int main. Before int main. Why? Because we are creating some idea first, okay, and we are defining some concept, some idea, some object of the universe, and that the way to define some object, that is called abstraction. So we will do the abstraction at the beginning. The abstraction means how we will represent the student, how to represent. Maybe my idea to represent a student is different from your one, from someone else, but the way that I'm representing a student, this is my way of abstraction. That abstraction, and once I define the student, the idea, that idea will become a new data type like int, float, double. So that will be a new data type. So we need to define first. So how to define? To define, we will use the word class. Okay, to define a class. So let's suppose the class name will be a student. Note the point that in case of class, we are using the first character capital. This is just a common convention. In case of variables, if you remember, like int, we were mostly using small case, lower case. Okay, so that one for variable lowercase, for class uppercase, the first one. And if there are two words like student information, so you see the second word again, the starting character capital, and the next is again lowercase, information. Okay, this style is called camel case. Okay, camel case convention. Okay, so I will just use a student, let's suppose student, and after that curly brace, and this is the class. Okay, so if this is a class, and the semicolon. Okay, so this is the body of the class. Now inside the body we will have to define two things. Number first, properties of the student. Okay, and number second, functions of the functions. Okay, we will define these two things. And from this slide, if you remember here, the data we are mostly trying to hide, and the functionality become a public user interface. So the properties are mostly hide. Okay, this will be mostly hide, and this part will be public. Public means visible. Okay, visible to the outside. So how to do that? How to hide and how to public? There is a keyword private. Is it private and then colon? After that, whatever you do, it become private. It become hidden. Okay, it is not visible to the outside. Okay, and there is another keyword. There is another keyword which is oh, here I will type that one here, which is public. Okay, so after public colon, after this whatever you do, that will be public. So here we are mostly introducing in the private section the data. Okay, only the property. For example, string. Okay, I think I should string, I should include here also. Let's include string. Okay, string. Okay, string. So name and float, age, character, or maybe you can make it even string this one also, but character, gender, age. Oh, sorry, age should be float. Float. Oh, age I have already defined. What next? Program. Program. Maybe the spelling is correct or wrong. Program. Okay. Oh my god. It should be string. Program. Okay, like this. And maybe int. Yeah. Should be enough. Hello guys. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. You should respond to me like this. Okay, so you see these are the properties. We can define many more if you want. Okay, but just for learning purpose, it should be enough. Now you see in the functionality portion, we will define some function for the student. For example, uh, let's suppose the student can write. So I will just write define a function void write. Okay, and it will get a string whatever we send to it. Okay, string let's suppose str. Oh yeah, good, very good. Sorry. Let's go. You told me I'm done. It should be here. Okay, str. So then the function I will define here. So meaning to say this function is not returning anything, but it is just writing whatever it gets. So that will be the functionality of the student. So I am simply writing cout. Okay. Uh, I will just write I can write what you send to me. Okay, then space, and after that I think yeah, like this, and after that I will write the same display the str. Okay, and maybe line also just for extra like okay, should be okay, should be very simple, right? Okay, so you see, this is our general idea about student. The student have name, age, gender, program, and year, and the student can write. Actually, the student have more functionality also. We can define more, but just for learning purpose, just to show properties plus functionality. Okay, just two things like that. Okay, now we create the area. This area is called class. Okay, this is called class. Now this class is a data type now, meaning to say compiler know exactly like int. Okay, for example, like int x and y equal to true. If the compiler know this, why? Because the int has been defined like this before from the company. Now we define what are these? Okay. Now we define one idea, and that idea is the student idea, and we give name to that idea as a student. Now compiler when come to this coding, then when see the word class, it means the compiler will understand that, oh, the programmer is going to define new idea. So the new idea name is student, and it has a private data member. These are called data members. Okay, data members. Okay, private data members, name, age, float, year, and so on. And these are called member functions. Okay, and it has only one function. Now inside main, okay, you see, now we came to main. Inside main, if I write, you see, even the Visual Studio Code give me option of student. Now compiler know what is student. Previously, if you type, computer don't know, but now compiler know what is student. So if I define, let's suppose student who, let's suppose the same city. Okay. Sorry if any one of you are name is city. Maybe should not be a problem, but I need your permission to use your name. Okay. So let's suppose city. So it means we create a variable of the new idea. So the idea is called class. The variable is called object. The idea is called class. The variable is called object. So do you understood the difference between class and object now? Anyone who is confused? Hello. Okay, good. Okay, now you see, I can now the question is how to ask this. Now this city is actually the student. The student is, let's suppose this is the object. Okay, and now it has all these components. It has, let me create like this. Okay, so it has the name. Okay, the age, gender, program, and year, and after that it has a functionality of writing. Okay, so it is now one entity, and this entity encloses the properties which are hidden and a functionality which is public. Public means, you see, outside this class, outside here in the main, I can call this function, but I cannot call the properties because they are private, but I can call this through the object. Okay, so it is like this. Now if I need to assign values uh, to this object. It is now like this. If, for example, if I just say int x, okay, student city int x, but what is the value of x? We didn't assign yet, right? Okay, to assign values to this, we can actually define a function. Okay, inside the same class, we can define a function. Let's suppose void set values. Okay, and this will get how many arguments? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the first one should be string, comma, float, comma, character, comma, string again, comma, int. Okay, int. And after this, like this. Okay, let's suppose the string is name. I will just use n. Okay, the float is age. I will use a. Okay, and the gender I will use g. And for the program I will use p. And for the year I will use y. Are you agree with me? Hello. And then I will simply say name equal to n semicolon, and age equal to a semicolon, and gender equal to g semicolon, and program equal to p semicolon, and year equal to y semicolon. So meaning to say that each value go to its property. N will go name, will go to name, age that I'm representing by a, it will go to age, and so on. Okay, now if I want to set the values for this student now, then I can call like this. You see, city dot. Well, you see, when I press the dot, you see the two functions that it has, write and set values, are there, right? So I will call this function, and now you see it tells me that you will have to provide all these values. So the first one I want to provide city is the name. Okay, next one is age. Don't worry, I just I think let's suppose any number. Gender is character, not the point. It will be in single quote. And program is again a string value. It will be in double quotation. I will type SK for simplicity. And the year should be 2. And you see, and then full stop. So the first argument will go to N, second to A, F to gender, SK to program, 2 to the year, and then each value will be assigned to that. Okay. Now if I want that the city should write something, the functionality. So if I write city that write, okay, and I will have to pass a string, then I will pass uh, welcome to object oriented programming, and maybe backslash n is there. It's up to you if you want to provide it. I think we already provide that. Okay, and semicolon. Okay, if I run this coding, you see, save it. If I run this coding, we will see this you see this function will be called, the right function will be called, and if you see the right function, it needs one string, and when I send this string, it will save in the str, and this one is we have already written there, and the str will be welcome to OOP. Okay, let me run it, then let's see. Okay. Yeah, can you see the output? I can write what you sent to me, and after that, welcome to OOP. Here is this one. Okay, now I want to listen from you that how much are you confused? Okay, do you understand what I want to say? Hello, guys. Any one of you? Hello.
I'm confused about the SDR beside the screen.
This one, huh?
No, the SDR beside the
This
screen.
one. This one. Actually, you can do any value. For example, like message. Okay, this is the message that we define. It's not an issue. So this message will be the same message here. So it is just a variable that whatever we send from here, this string value will go to this. It is like this. Let me annotate. So you see, this string value will go to this message variable. You see here, it will store in this, and after that, inside the function we are displaying this. So this will be displayed because it is a prompt, and whatever the value you see, this will be here. So you see, the value is welcome to OOP. Then it will display welcome to OOP. Okay, now I'm changing. You see, let me change it. Okay? The OOP I will change to object oriented programming. You see, now this welcome to object oriented programming, it will go to this message. Okay, it will store here, and after that it will display here. So if I save the changes and if I run, then the output will be, there is any problem. Is there any problem? Let me create, save it, run. Yeah, you see, welcome to object oriented programming. Okay, let me see your question. I got a lengthy question. Okay, what is the purpose to set or to have the property? Okay, but we didn't show it yet. Good question. Or we just need to store the property values. Okay, very good question. The student simply will not display the result because hardly digital. It's the same guy, two different guy. Okay, here's the first one. Lee. Lee, your question is very valid, and actually I know that I didn't display the values. Why I stored, I didn't display. I'm coming to that point. And the second one, yeah, the student city will not display the result because I think you are also talking about the properties of these values. Okay. Okay, this one I didn't display purposely because I was afraid that maybe the coding will become a bit complex and the new student will become scared. So this is why I skipped this point. But if I want to display, let's display it. You see, I'm defining another function like void. Okay, void display data, and here uh, I am not sending any values. Okay, but I'm displaying like this, cout. Okay, cout uh, name equal to, sorry, name equal to name. Okay, I will copy this several times. Oh, not like this. Like this. Okay, cout name equal to name. Age. After that is age. You should help me. Age equal to age. After that is what? Gender program. Uh, Gender equal to gender. Program equal to program. And one time more is what? Year of study. Uh, Study equal to year. Okay, good. Save it. Display data are this. Oh, display. It's my mistake. Yeah, you can you can do whatever you want. It's a user defined name. You can give any name. Okay, please bear with me. I'm quite bad in spellings. Okay, so sometimes I do these like mistakes. Okay, so you see, when I call this function with any object, then its values will be displayed. For example, you see here, if I call now city, okay, city dot display values, then you see it will display. It will display these values that we send. Okay, let me save this one and run once again. Yeah, can you see the output? Welcome to object programming. After that, name equal to CT, age equal to 20.5, gender is a, program is SK, year of study equal to 2. Can you see? So in this way, we can store values to the object and we can display values of the object. Let me create another one also. You see here, along with CT, I just put comma and I can copy. Yep, I'm using your name. Okay, your name is a bit easy. So I'm using your name. Okay, then after that, I will copy. Okay, I will call the same functions. Yep, dot set values. Okay, so the name should be yup and the age should be after that is age. Huh? Yup, you don't want to share your actual age. Okay, age is float value, like suppose 25.6. Are you smaller than this or earlier than this? And after that, gender is F. Yup, you want to
Yes.
share?
24.
Program. Yeah, program. Program is what? Let's suppose cognitive science. To be a bit different from this. Cognitive science. Okay, and after that is what? Here is let's suppose 2. So this is done. Now, if I want to yup that display. Okay, this time I'm not calling the right function. I just want to display the data. That you should quickly see the difference. Okay, so you see after this is the CT1 and before this is the YAP information. Save it and run again. And this time we will see 2 times. Oh, I didn't provide here the backslash n. So it will. I think I should clear this one first. And here, here's n. Here I should provide cout. Uh, and be n, I suppose. Let me save it. And now run. Okay, you see the first one name equal to yup because what I call first, let's see. First one I call set the value, so it is just setting the value, it's not displaying anything. After that, I just call the function, okay, the display. So I call the display data with the object yup, then yup information will be displayed. What is it? What is it? Let me run once again. Yeah, so you see after that yup information will display. Name equal to yup, age equal to this. Oh, gender should be M. Yup. I don't know. Sorry. This is just an example. Program, cognitive science, year of 72. And you see, after that, I call the other function, and after that, the CT object is calling the function. So you see, here is a very important point if you try to understand that you see the idea, the concept, the class. You see, the class is for every object. For every object. So meaning to say, every object have a set of all the properties and a set of all the functionalities. So every object have these properties and every object has this functionality now. Okay, so any object, if it is a yup and it's called this value, it will have its own set of values. And when CT is calling calling this function, then it will have own set of values. Exactly like you people, that all of you are the student of Unimas. So the general concept, in general concept, all of you are same, but you have different set of values. Everyone has different name, different metric number, different properties. Okay, different skills. So it is like this. Now, did I answer the questions that you asked? Yeah, you and the other guy is
Yes.
Lee. Yeah. So did you get the answer right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. So anyone else? Anyone else? If there is any confusion, hello guys. Today I'm going slowly. Slowly, I will go faster because if I go slowly like this, I cannot finish the course. So later on I will go faster. So today you have a chance to ask many questions. I will do many examples, many things. But slowly I will get faster. Any confusion?
Yes, sir.
Uh, okay. Let me quickly write for you. Class book. This will be the class. Semicolon. All right. And here private colon string title uh, int again string author next int ISBN load a double twice. Okay, so these are the data members that generally a book has. Okay, after that we will define a public. Okay, okay. And here set values and display data. Void set values. Okay, how many values for first one string? It should be let's suppose title. Second one again string, and it should be other. Okay, for other uh, int ISBN and float price. You can give any name. It's not compulsory that whatever I'm going to give should be like. But title, okay, title equal to T, other equal to A, ISBN, ISBN equal to I, float. Oh, sorry, price equal to 3. Semicolon. So all the values are set now. Now to display the values again, void display data or display any name you can give as you wish. Okay, display data. Okay, and here it doesn't have any values. It will just display cout. Okay, cout. The title equal to title, and invite should be here. Indian. Okay, I will copy this. book becomes other equal to other. Okay. ISBN equal to ISBN price equal to price. So we define the concept of a book, okay, which is an object. The general idea is called class. We didn't define object yet. This is until now is a class. Not the point the class don't occupy any memory, okay, and not this point also. Never ever make this mistake that you assign here the title like this, okay, like directly you assign value. Why? The reason is that class is just an idea, okay. It doesn't occupy any memory. So if you put a value here, so it cannot store anywhere in the memory. This is why never put values there. Okay, now in the main I will define a book. So quickly like book B1 and B2. Okay, two books I created. So B1 dot set values. So the first one should be OOP, just quickly. Okay, object oriented programming. Title is this. Author is anyone. Okay, ISBN is something like this. Price is, let's suppose, 40. Okay, so these are the values, and then B1 dot, sorry, B1 dot display data semicolon. Okay, the same thing I can copy for book 2. Okay, book 2, this one should be what? Let's suppose Java or Python. Anyone else? It should be just anyone else, and this may be just a bit, so this may be okay. So that's all. Is it okay? Hello guys. Anyone of you who didn't get? Am I going faster? Hello, are you there? Okay, good.
Okay, sir.
So, okay, good. If I run it, let's see what I get. Now you see title is book, the first one, the book one. Until the price, you see then the second title. We can display a messages to separate the one class data, one object data from another one. Okay, that is just a messaging. You can display here, just like for example, see out plus object data, and then here backslash n like this, and then maybe here second object. Yes, second object data like this. Okay, so I hope you got. So this is the way how to define a class, how to define an object. If any one of you didn't get, don't worry. We will repeat this the same concept again and again and again. The only thing is that it will get complex and complex and complex day by day. We will add new concept, new ideas. But the main functionality, the main idea is what? Class number one and object number two. Define a class and define object. This is the general objective. So how to do it? A bit details will be from time to time. Okay, so I hope you got it.